Pizza and run.
At the lodge meeting?
Yes. So.
Tori like guards the pizza till the end of the meeting. She's like, no pizza.
You have to do it. Or they're just going to devour it and you.
He's like gonna make up the 4 over with the paper.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be 5 pages.
Yeah, I believe I would do paper 1 page. I think it's
So let's start with my final paper here. What?
It's like I will start on Tuesday night.
Let's not do till.
Yeah, next Monday.
That's good.
What's our reading response for today? Sports.
That's how much. I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, he messaged me and said I could write a paper to make up for some of my absences. I'm like,
yeah, me too.
he said I have 5, but the thing is I know that I don't have 5. I have 4. I recall exactly. I missed 2 days. One I was actually sick. The other was after my car wreck. And then I missed 2 others because I had personal things to do. But I didn't want to argue. I was like, okay, I'll write it. Just 3 to 4 pages of talking about mindfulness. So I wrote it in like an hour, but I was like, I bet a lot of other people have to do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, he said I had 6. And I was like, you know what? I probably had 7, so I'll go ahead and write
quality. I know I was thinking that. I was like, I know there's a couple other people that miss more than me, so it's probably not just me. This is
Oh, yeah.
Well, at some point, we stopped writing down our names, and we started
Yeah.
taking attendance from our assignments. So that might be why you should have more. Maybe you're missing one more assignment than you're missing a day.
Oh, then I should have like 12.
I bet that's what it
Maybe
is.
he's not doing that.
Because I had a couple of assignments that I didn't upload. Okay.
Yeah, I still have to upload them.
It's only a
Just a
25
picture.
and a 27.
Yeah. Right. And I had like 3 out of 27 that weren't uploaded.
You want to get through them?
So I'll do that.
Oh, what is it? Oh, nice.
So like I emailed them too and asked if our presentations are just like the same thing as our paper, basically that we
Small
have to
but
do
heavy though.
design a model for someone. I asked if you can design a model for yourself, and he said that was fine because I was under the impression that our presentations could be over whatever topic we wanted. Then I happened to look back to the syllabus and I was like, no, I bet it's going to be the same requirements for paper. I'm glad I looked before I started working on mine. The requirements for the paper is, I thought it was just like over a topic of mindfulness or one of the models or whatever, but it's designing a model for someone's life on like a micro and a macro level. And so I asked if we could do it over ourselves because I've already started doing a lot online over yoga and things. And so he said that it's fine if you do it over yourself.
Yeah, because I sent him my topic, and he said that it sounded good, and it's just about like mindfulness as an eye. So I don't know if that fits the criteria or not.
I thought it was weird one day when he asked me to talk about my topic. He acted like my topic wasn't good. And that's because I said I was just going to do mine over like mindfulness in your body, like exercise-wise. But now I understand why, because he wants us to do more of like a model. So I guess yours is going to fit in the category of doing a model over your own life, so that's why he was yours was okay with it. Mine was not, because it wasn't about anyone's life in particular. Now it's going to be. It's going to be about mine. And I'm glad I checked on that before I started doing the whole presentation over just yoga, and then we've got like a 5 out of points. For 30. And I was proud of it too.
It's like it's pretty consistent because each of our responses is 2. And then I think that's say 15 usually. 33 is still
We only have 4 people, so we kind of wait and see if anybody else shows up.
Team
We have
what?
5.
Oh, no.
We have 5, but need at least one
on the
more
reading
person.
response, though, because he gave me a 1.5 out of 2 on one of our very first ones because it wasn't long enough, so I'm going to have to do another one and get the 2 points on it so that I can actually get all the points.
A few of mine are like
Are we
300
playing
points.
games?
Sounds like
Mindfulness is sport, so playing again.
nothing.
Sometimes that's why just like I've worked on it and I stopped working on it just because I know how difficult it is. So
You're a doctor. What's your title again? Doctor, sorry, what was your last name? Pinkston. That's because I never heard it before. Dr. Pinkston. You know what your first name is?
Pretty smart.
Gary. Okay, that's right. Uncle Gary. Since there's only 6, do you want to play a game with us?
You bet.
Okay.
it was 2 to 6, yes.
Okay. So, team 1.
I'm just gonna go through.
What do you go by? You don't go by your first name.
JT.
Just the one that you were doing, was it yesterday when she said to me, I work by your hand.
Got those right?
Yeah, that was a ridiculous.
Okay. So rather than starting with meditating, we're going to start right after the game. And we'll meditate after.
Hey, you know, for 1 second. Dr. Robert Dapp asked me to bring this along on this day. So this is a Mindful magazine. And this is a Seattle Seahawks coach. And she brought Bell with you. It's one of the Super Bowl. And he's his mindfulness with his team.
Oh, goodness. I've heard a lot about him, actually. Like, even my friends' dads are talking about him. Like, when I talk about football, they're like, you heard about this mindfulness thing he's doing? And they act like it's so new and, like, crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I have heard about it.
I didn't bring the magazine, but this is the most scientific American. And it's neuroscience and meditation. And it's, Scientific American's not out there kind of magazine. And it's showing that meditation does work.
Do you want to pass those around? So I'll shut the door. So the goal here is to, I don't know how many of you got to read about mindfulness sport. Some of the PowerPoint would be interesting. One of the things I talked about was concentration, and there's external stimuli and internal stimuli. So, so what I thought might be fun is to do a quick little game and take our scores, and then do our meditation, do the game again, and see if anything happens. Just for fun, just for an experiment. So when team 1's going, it's going to be 30 seconds per person. Somebody on your team, like maybe the person behind you, okay, these are forks. This is It's not a commentation on how much I drink. I've been saving up a very long time, so it's not just like this month or anything. I tried ping pong balls and ended up with all the ping pong balls hidden behind my stove because they just went everywhere. So I just said, let's just use corks to bounce less. So the goal is to stand behind the tape and try to get points. This is 1, this is 5, this is 10. And we're just going to time you for 30 seconds. And the other team has to be very distracting. Just like you at a game, like boos and hisses, and your team should cheer. And the person throwing it needs to try to concentrate even though there's a bunch of noise and ruckus going on. So I'm just curious to see if before or after meditation makes any difference. I don't know. So that's the game. I just made it up in my head, so it might be fun. So team 1, if you want to come up. And team 2, you can come closer so you can boom them.
Just some heavy throbbing.
So I don't care if you guys want to jump them out and just hand them or however you want to do it.
No, you can't. Okay, fine.
So I'm going to time and keep
Pushing it.
Or you can have Mr. Clubhouse.
No, don't worry, I'm not much better.
Do we just
You can get as close to the
Take
line
turns,
as you
or-
want. Yeah, you're going to take turns. And I'm going to time you for 30 seconds. You always I say go. And then we'll total up everybody's score.
How
and
many
we'll
do
do
you
our
get to throw?
meditation. However many you can in 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So do I go for 30 seconds?
You'll go 30 seconds.
Okay.
And if you want somebody to hand you, of course you can. If you just want handfuls of them, that's fine.
GT's like a Cheeto game.
Cheetah.
Well,
Except nobody has a head full shoe.
Okay, so you guys cheer. You guys boo. Ready, set, go.
You're fine.
Miss it. Ah, come on. We got nothing.
No,
Take care.
You guys will give up now.
Alright, GT.
That was fun.
Look at that. Oh, no. See?
Stupid luck.
That's just luck.
Yeah.
It's just
Not
beginner's
even
luck.
gonna
You
go
won't do
there.
any better. No.
Too hard. Yeah, keep on.
Try again. No. That's again.
Time's up.
Good job.
He probably is going to win. He may do in the 10.
There's just one in the 10.
Oh. Alright.
And then reset. There's nothing in the buckets.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I'm not
I only
competitive
scored
at
on
all.
grade school in tennis, and there was no
It's not
cheering.
easy.
There was no yelling or cheering in that, so. I don't know, in high school at basketball games though, we would sing Christmas carols or like Strawberry
ready?
Wine, like really
Ready?
long songs
Go.
during Christmas. We could do that. That's again. You guys are not good.
You gotta go cheer louder. Go on.
No, you go for the harder one. That's too easy. Come on. You gotta get more points. Oh,
Not fair. I mean, you're terrible. Now aim.
no.
You're really good at heckling, Tina.
What?
She said you're good at
I'm good at
Time's
heckling?
up.
All right, yeah. See, look, I'm
Time's
good
up.
here.
Alright, so, 10, 14, 16.
Dang.
Good job.
I make up for being nice.
Alright,
Only heckling.
because you're supposed to be.
They're not very good at heckling. They're
You're
good.
doing a great
Do
job.
not
That
throw
one's
like
done.
I'm sure cheerleader people are cheering you to be good at
I'm sure they
heckling.
know.
You're doing a great job.
Yeah.
My whole discipline is.
Alright, ready?
Sounds
Go!
No, stop. With it. Thank you.
I mean,
No.
No,
Oh,
you're
too
not
hard.
gonna make it.
Oh,
I am not.
Sweat
Actually.
for it. There you go. There you go. Good job. Oh, dang it.
Oh, great job, Helen Keller.
Oh, wow.
Come on, look at that luck. This is all luck. You have no aim.
Oh.
You're right, it is all luck.
Nobody's making fun of you.
I'm in
Yeah, keep on throwing on top of the board.
There you go. There you go. Stop right
Yep,
there.
there you go. Oh, yeah.
So I always say to people like that in parking.
Ooh, it's hard. Whoa. 35, 30s?
Oh, whoa. Good
Seven.
job.
Nice.
Woo.
You should have seen the peepals when I tried that. It was chaos. They're everywhere. I don't even know where they are. They're somewhere in the house.
All right.
All right. Let's try team 2. Team 1, ready to heckle. Looks like team is going
Not very
first.
good at hacking.
I don't want to throw cords.
I'm gonna just have a share going on.
Alright. Go.
You're not my fault. You're not my fault. You're not my fault. You're distracted. You're distracted. Ho, 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 ho. Distracted. You're distracted.
As you can.
Huge show.
Good job.
Look over here. Hey.
Going up, up.
Up.
There we go.
I just played really loud sounds on my phone.
Over here. Look.
There it is. Up.
Okay, time's up.
Ah, it counts.
Hey, I got one over.
My last 5 now.
This cup's not sticking very well. Wow. 10.
Maybe.
36.
Hey, good job. I wasn't too bad. Here, I'll hold your corks for whoever wants to go next.
I want to get it over with.
Get it over with.
That's
You could use the strategy I use and just throw them all
There's
over.
a lot in those 5-pointers.
He's a good heckler too. You're not my fault. Whenever you thought of that, Sharon. I hope you think of you're not Michael. Michael.
Just take a bunch of like pictures of the flash on my phone.
Alright, go.
Think about doing all those flowers. All those flowers gotta. Oh, you're flowers. All the flowers gotta do. That's flowers. That's what it's flowers. Too many flowers you gotta work on. Oh my goodness. Think about the flowers. Flowers. You're not mindful. You're not mindful. You're not mindful.
that's really
Get
good.
them on the table.
Hey,
30.
you're not mindful.
Come on, give it 35.
You're not mindful.
Good
Look at those flowers. Those flowers. Think about those flowers.
Good job.
We couldn't hear you. There's
That's
so much
whatever.
That's much heckling. Okay, 5, 10, 20,
more flowers.
30.
30.
So excited for it.
I see someone.
Yes, just move it around a lot.
Yep.
That's right. They'd be like,
Alright, go team
I
member.
guess there's enough forks.
Here.
That's funny. We got to be mean to each other, be attorneys and such. You get to heckle each other.
Okay.
we just dance. Like, just hate.
Ready?
And then
No, like,
Go.
Finals are coming up. Think about the finals.
you know what?
Finals coming up.
Savory.
Worry about the finals. Think about those finals you gotta do.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
fun.
study. Oh, finals. Oh my gosh. I'm worried about my finals.
Jacob, you're
There was some
good.
finals.
noises.
Ah!
You're alright. You're alright.
How many finals you want? Oh, too much to do. Too much to do. Finals. Too many finals.
That was great. Ah!
Okay, so there's a 10, and then there's 5, 10, 15, 20, 35, 40.
Woo!
Wow.
Actually, been effective.
You're worried about your finals.
Heckle.
Actually, am. Don't throw that one at me. So I am worried about that.
Okay, so I guess we'll do our meditation now. Try again. See if we can do it later.
Someone's gonna come into the classroom later and find corks all over the floor. What were they doing here?
Yeah, what? Wow, they had
Is
a
there a
great
class
time
for
in
wine
there.
tasting?
I
I'm taking that.
want to major in that.
I'm majoring in wine tasting. No, oh, I did, obviously.
I mean, people can major in the local music and stuff. I'm
Specialized
sure it
private.
exists somewhere.
Try that, exactly. So this should do, I just set this up and it did work, so hopefully it keeps working. It should do a beep and a ring in the middle, and then 5 minutes later, another bell. So I'll keep my eye on it just in case. Everybody ready? We're going to do 3 5-minute
It's the
sessions.
energy flow of your hand position. I do it when I do yoga. It's my favorite yoga position. You'll see in my presentation it's called fish pose. And then put my hands like that. When I do it, it works so much better. You made it.
We're just getting ready to meditate. So if you're trying to miss it, you're missing it. Okay, I'm going to start. We're doing 3 5-minute sessions. And what were your counts?
27, 25, 25.
Okay, you have trouble concentrating or anything?
Oh, yes, because 5 weeks and that was
I was at 55, 52, 56. Definitely had trouble concentrating. I think I tended to lose count a lot, actually. Just a lot on my mind.
Were any of them harder than the others?
Maybe the first one may have been the hardest, but the difficulty didn't really seem to go down as I was hoping it would, So I guess I would think, as I kind of calmed myself down a little bit, it would have been easier, but it really didn't get a whole lot easier.
It was 52, 54, 57. I think the last one was 57. I lost count on that one. It was either that or 70 something. I assumed it was 57. I was like, I didn't change 20. So,
What about you, Tina? Picture of these yoga socks if I want them.
Yeah, that's what I thought about.
I'm getting very into yoga. Mine was 79, 96, and 66. And mine were like way off. Last time we did it, they were very consistent. And I noticed that the first time was a lot harder for me. So I guess that says to me like I need to start doing longer amounts of time because the second and third one it just got easier and easier. And then by the end of the third one, I felt like I could keep going. But at the end of the first one, I was like, oh, I'm glad to take a break, you know. So I guess that just goes to show like I can do longer now.
I didn't really keep count because it was about 50 or so each time. My nose started running in the middle of the first one, so I had to go like that. And then after that, so I scratch.
I've lost count a lot, so mine were like 108, 91, and 78. So those were probably all wrong. But I think like the second one was the hardest, just because I'm having a hard time paying attention this morning. And in the second one, you're like, oh, I still have like I just did one. I didn't do it very well. And now I have one more to go after this.
On that, the first one was the most relaxing. And I didn't write anything down, so I remember it. It sounded like I studied. And then the second one, and the third one's like 50 something. So it was, it's interesting, like, you know, it's like my editor, that book, Seattle Seahawks. Meditation is not a individual thing, it's a team sport. So I encourage you to do it together. I find a lot of these more able to do it here than I am.
Mine were 59, 51, and 53, but I lost count at the beginning of the first one. I think because I was all from us playing the game. I was so distracted. It was really hard for me to focus on the first one. It was everything in and out, just constant clutter. And then the second and the third one, they got progressively easier. Except in the third one, I started thinking about, like, what am I going to do afterward? Instead of trying to I have to keep reminding myself, stay in this present moment, stay in the moment. That was interesting. Okay, so when we do round 2 of the game, when it's your turn, try to center yourself, take yourself back to your meditation moment. Try to just do a little breath. Just center yourself. Try to put yourself in that moment right before you start throwing, and then save that.
Do you mind if I steal the ordering thing out of here?
Oh, yeah, go ahead.
We're comparing results. We'll just keep the same games we had since we're just comparing results. And it would be impossible to compare if we changed people. So we'll just do what we did before. And can cheer. You can just cheer for both teams. Everyone seems a lot more relaxed now.
I don't feel like heckling now.
I don't feel like heckling now. Oh, the joy of that drama.
Here, I can hold some for you.
Mean person for
This one's lucky, lucky if we were going to.
The black one?
Yeah.
Really special. All right, ready, set, go.
You are mindful.
Getting better.
You're not going to make any of those. You just give up now.
Very good.
That was luck.
Very
Yeah, I
successful.
told you. You ain't gonna.
Very good. Much better.
No.
Very good.
No. You should stop going for those 10 points. Just go for the easy ones, man. No, that was lucky.
There you are.
No, let's get hit 3. Let's get hit 4. Let's get hit 4. Let's get hit 5. I told you.
Time's up.
That was amazing. We were time everything.
So we got here. Whoa. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50.
It's the pocket team.
70.
It's that pocket team.
Well, JP.
Okay then.
Yeah.
That was amazing.
Improvements.
Matt really
It
don't
was
sound
so
like
far.
That's very interesting. Okay.
It's hustling.
Next.
I was hustling that first.
Whoever's next, team one.
Do you want to go first or yeah?
Go on first.
Nope, it's all you, sir. All you.
Method. Oh, yeah.
Ready, set,
It's a good
go.
one, there's one before
Yeah.
that. Oh,
Oh,
okay.
there
Now we get that strategy doesn't work. Now. Method.
Think of
Not the
all
holiday
those
world great
finals
job.
papers you have to
Good
read
job.
there.
Method.
You did great.
Drop them off right now.
You got one, but that's all you're gonna get.
No, this one, no.
Nope,
Black one's not lucky.
nope, they're not. You should just give up on those.
Yeah.
Nope.
Method.
Ah!
Nothing.
Nope, nope,
Nope. Nope.
nope, nothing, nothing. Not in
There
one.
you go.
Okay,
Take
time's
run.
up. Awesome. I tried to think of the score again.
This is not gonna be up.
40,
I think we got right.
55.
Right.
Good job. Probably have an I used to play those
We're just
games
listening.
when I was a kid, and I would get like 2 marks of things. I mean, I was so good at them. My dad would just take me around the mall and stuff and be like, "What do you want to have this one?" Now this one, people would just watch it.
Ready?
Now it's
Set, go.
Is it? There you go, I'm right for the middle. Hit that every time, right there. Every shot. Right. Now this one. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
Now-
going.
now-
That was definitely.
Now we
I
look
think
again,
you can do
yeah.
that again.
Is it? Oh, you're probably
You
not.
can't even hold on to
You're
it.
something. Is it? Is
No,
it?
little to the right, little to the
There
right.
you go.
Yep,
It's the
there you go.
Miss.
Oh, to the left, to the left.
Great
Take it
miss.
back.
Great miss. Miss again.
Oh, nice.
Okay, time's up. Out.
Well, to the right. I was like, yeah.
30, 40, 50, 60. She got all 10. So
Okay.
60.
On the court.
Good job.
Thank you. Yeah, that was a definite improvement. Teamwork.
Okay, set, go.
Imagine you're a Kentucky fan.
Yeah.
Kentucky lost.
Yeah. Sports
You
ball.
must have learned your shot from them. Look at
Yeah. They never make a goal
No,
basket.
can't do that again. Can't do it
There
again.
you go.
No, you're,
You are
You can't do it.
on the money right now.
Funny.
Even so.
finals are coming.
Final paper.
Oh,
Fix your hair.
yeah.
Oh,
Fix your
man.
hair.
Keep it
We have to do
going.
that for
Oh,
this.
yeah.
It's like you're Hollywood for this
class.
class. You're a little kid.
Nice. I mean, no. I'm not. I'm horrible at heckling.
Oh my
Oh,
God.
yeah. Fight me. What's up? Sorry. Sorry, I got to rush there. I'm over it now.
10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90.
What?
There you go.
Oh, 30, 40, 5, 50.
What's up? Who wants to go? Court game. Court game.
Alright, so I think now we've all learned
Alright, you gotta
that
top
we
this.
need to like,
Court game. Top it.
You got a baseball with it.
well, we need to start drinking more wine so we can have a court
That's
game.
what it is.
I know we're all gonna go home and be like, I'm gonna play now.
Ready, set, go.
How many flowers did you do, Larry? Got more flowers than you?
Just
You got it.
Oh,
I
you
know.
got that
Oh,
flower.
yeah. Luck is on your side.
Tell your audience and find
Just think of Dr. Solace being disappointed in you.
Flowers for finals.
Flowers
Flowers
are
coming.
for finals.
Yeah.
Flowers, finals,
What are you doing for me, huh?
Dr. Solace is gonna be so upset.
Yeah.
Oh, you are in the zone.
You're
There
not
we go.
in
They
the zone.
don't even
You
open.
don't have a zone.
His
You
zone
got this.
is so
Fix
big.
this.
It's like high school.
I'm so sorry.
You don't have
I'm sorry. Okay, 10, 20,
High school
30,
teachers are like the
40,
worst
50,
for me.
60, 70,
Like so chubby. Now
85.
people see me and they're like, oh, you can beat me up.
That was
It's
the
good.
like,
I know that cork.
I love that cork.
I know it too. It's the honey wine from
You're
all
not
over.
terrible.
Oh, yeah,
You're
all
not
over
good.
the
You get like the
Honey mead, yeah.
and then every once in a while you make one.
Okay. Jacob.
It is my turn.
Jacob, finish the game.
Oh, yeah. Be centered, focus, ready to go. All right, on your mark. Set, go. Here, I'll sing
What's
off
it
the
called
bell.
for you? Tell me.
Where's final score about? See, that's what you can do.
There you go.
Usually just sing like
Over
show
here.
tunes in the
What
background.
do you call that?
Over here.
Is that called your zone?
There you go.
Okay, we're here.
Copy that. Sing. What's your making
Over here.
one?
Over here. Look, look. Oh, distraction.
Yeah.
Distraction.
Oh, yeah.
Distraction.
And she didn't look very happy when she
Don't
told me to
say
tell you
that.
that she was looking for you.
She had a really disappointed look in
I
her.
think I didn't like saying your words.
I can't be mean. I hate it.
Yeah, I don't like being
I'm
mean.
smiling the whole time, like, I
Makes me
don't
feel
mean
bad.
things. I don't mean it.
39. Just about the same. So I would say, overall, everyone did like exceptionally better. Jake did about the same, but he did rather well the first time. So it's a low number the first time. But if you look at, JT did 6 times better after meditation. You look at Tina's score from 36 to 1. I think meditation may have really helped her get focused.
I'm in the zone now.
She was in the zone. So I'm going to take a little picture of this, to record our results.
Meditation really helped me.
Meditation works.
Except for the scientific American.
Yeah. It's a, oh, shoot. Flash me. Okay. So I think the main point, when I looked at the slide, I was thinking about concentration and the external stimuli and the internal stimuli. So with our heckling and our cheering, that represented our external stimuli. Then your internal stimuli is you're all nervous, or you're thinking about something else, or, oh, am I doing this right? Maybe I should be doing something else. And the second time, it felt like everyone was way more in the zone. They had some flow going. So let me just see. Concentration. I don't want to talk too long because I just want to look at the 2 things. Concentration. Who is prepared to talk? Let's start that way. Who did it first? Who's ready to talk? Because I know it's holiday weekend, so maybe not everybody has read yet. Anybody?
I mean, I read a little bit here. So I guess what I kind of thought about when I thought of this is just like a lot of like college sports. I think there's like sometimes a lot of hype around a certain teams, and I think that kind of builds a lot of pressure, pressure on them to perform well, and they can kind of get to thinking about like all that outside talk, and like we were talking earlier, that's kind of the external stimuli, and that actually, builds on the internal stimuli as well. So I think, mindfulness definitely can help in that matter. Because a lot of it, I think, if you're able to more just focus on like playing the game itself, and basically that's what we were kind of talking about earlier, like being in the zone and not really paying attention to what this person says, what that person says. I think that'll help you better perform because some people granted do perform well under pressure, but others it could take away from their overall performance, I think. Also, I think that can help. If you're expected to be good, you may not like put forth as much effort, just because you think, oh, I'm good, I don't need to practice as much, I don't need to do all this. Again, if you kind of I guess, take yourself out of all that and just center yourself on, I guess, just doing your best, that could help you there. For a kind of a model, I kind of picked out ACT. One of the reasons I did that, I think that, especially in sports, it's kind of important to maybe realize your values at first. This may seem obvious, but I don't think, the values shouldn't be winning, because winning isn't everything. Although, I guess certain people's values may be winning, that could be all there is for it. But let's say that it's not winning. If your maybe values are like because you enjoy playing the game, because you want to get better, because you want to improve, even in when you lose or something doesn't turn out the way you wanted, you can always, instead of being all down on yourself, you can kind of look back and say, okay, what can I learn from this? How can I improve on this? I guess just overall, just kind of seeing, I guess, the value, or like searching for the values of why you're actually playing the sport that you're playing. And also, this is kind of tagging along with that there, kind of have a non-judgmental attitude toward things. Actually, hold on, let me start over again with that. I was mixing 2 points together. Well, I guess I'll just stop on there because I'm kind of losing my train of thought.
No, it's fine. You brought up some good points. You talked about expectations, which is something that I didn't really read too much about, but that could be a part of your external stimuli or internal stimuli, because, like you said, there's a lot of, when it comes to like college sports, there's a lot of media, there's a lot of talk, there's a lot of fans, so there's a lot of external pressure. But also, if you internalize all of that that's going on, and then you set expectations for yourself, either based on that or based on your own expectations, and you start setting up expectations of future events, that's when you can become frustrated if things don't come out exactly how you want. So I think that he brought up a good point about focusing on the values and playing the game for the reasons of values, not just for winning.
To piggyback on the Mindfulness book, the coach, Seahawks coach, he kind of an extension. He focuses on, he encourages his players for self-improvement, not for the external stimuli. So, like you say, do your best. You think about improving yourself, and then another term uses is warm body, where that extends to the whole team cycle, the group meditation. It extends beyond yourself, but you're actually trying to improve yourself. Does that make sense?
Yeah, like trying to improve yourself. I'm just trying to be the best player I can be. I'm not trying to make sure we win this game. It's more about, I'm going to be the best player I can be tonight. And every night, and I'm improving. Yeah. Who would like to offer any thoughts? Next.
I haven't written my response yet, but I like what you said about the expectations, because I have a personal experience with that. I was our tennis captain in high school. I started playing tennis when I was like 10, and I actually don't play now because I realized I got burnt out on it, because I always had expectations. Everybody was always like looking to me to win, and I wasn't our number one singles player. I was our first set of doubles, and then I was our lead for that doubles set, because I work better in a team. But everybody like always expected me to like be the best at everything in practice, but that wasn't why I was tennis captain. I was tennis captain because I was the best at pumping everybody up before the games and like getting everybody excited. And then like as soon as I was done with my match, I would go like help everyone else when the coach couldn't. But like that's why I stopped playing, because everyone had expectations for me to play in college and stuff. And I'm like, I just want to go to school. I'm done playing sports. And I'm done with people always expecting me to win and always expecting me to do better and better and better, when I just played to have fun. And we have a big tournament every year, and I remember my junior year of high school, my partner and I won the tournament, and then the next year, everyone like expected us to win again, and we didn't. We got knocked out the second round by a team that wasn't very good at all because we'd like psyched ourselves out. We thought last year we came into this thinking we weren't going to win, and we did. So this year we came in thinking we were going to win, and then we didn't. So I think a lot of sports are a mental game. Like tennis is definitely a mental game. There are some that, it takes brute force and being mindful to win. And then tennis, it doesn't matter how hard you hit the ball. If you can't place it in the right spot or make the right decision on where to hit the ball, then you're going to lose. It doesn't matter how hard you can hit the ball back if you can't hit it into the right spot. And so I think that if I had known about mindfulness then, I would have been a lot better player, because a lot of us didn't understand what our coach was trying to teach us. We didn't understand he was trying to teach us mindfulness. He just didn't call it that. Like, he would always just say, tennis is a mental game, and he would like give us pointers that now I realize are aspects of mindfulness. And so I think whether it's high school sports or whatever, that coaches should employ that, because I think people beat themselves up a lot, and they get in their own heads and make themselves lose, even though they might be a better player. So I think it is really important in sports. It's not just about being physically better. Mentally, you have to be stronger than the other player too, or you're going to lose.
I would agree with that. Anyone else? Yeah. I did mine about soccer. I played soccer since I was 6. And so I've been like on a lot of different teams with like a lot of different dynamics, and even like in high school, every year when people graduate and new people come in, like everything changes over. And my soccer coach in high school, I think he was trying to implement mindfulness as well. He just never said that. Like in practice, we'd have this set of drills, and it lasts for about 10 minutes. And so you were constantly doing something. You were kicking. You had like this process where you kick the ball back and forth, and each time you progressively get like a more advanced like pass, I guess, depending on how you were hitting it back and forth. But you weren't allowed to talk. You just had to like read each other and kind of work together on it. And so that was like kind of his way to get us out of school and into practice. And then bus rides, we could do what we wanted until the last like 10 minutes before we would arrive at the field. Then he would make us like all just be quiet, I guess, and they give us the warning, the 10-minute warning, and then everyone would know like it's when you put all your gear on and you're quiet the rest of the time, and then you just kind of go from school into the game. And sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. It really would just depend on how everyone was taking it, but he never really called it anything other than like, all right guys, quiet time, like. Right. But yeah, I think that it would have been really good to like bring meditation and mindfulness like into soccer, because it's such a team sport. I mean, you can't do everything yourself. There's 11 people like on your team altogether, so 10 other people you have to work with, and it gets frustrating because not all 10 people are at the same like level. So if you're having a great game and you're making all the right plays, but no one can play off of your play, it's useless. So you have to like be, I guess, mindful of who and what other people can handle, I guess. And so that also like brings up team conflict, which we had a lot of trouble with. Girls, like it was just silly girl drama, and it probably would have been a lot more helpful if we could have figured out a way to like stop it before it was the start.
Just like falling with each other instead of getting mad at each other.
Yeah.
Laughing about it, being like, you're having a terrible day, I'm sorry. You still have to play because you have to have this many people out there, but just know that you're not getting that ball.
Right. And it's just difficult to do without being mindful, I think.
I think, again, mindfulness is definitely good for conflict resolution. And then I was thinking about your thing where you had quiet time. That was really good. And having said, okay, so for the next 5 minutes, I want you to close your eyes and focus on your breathing and just visualize the ball going into the goal. Right. Visualize passing it to your teammate. Whatever your part is on that team, visualize the moves you do. Visualize it being successful. Yeah. I mean, that would have helped a lot.
It really would have, just because then it would have actually been like making us focus on the game, not on just getting ready for it,
yeah.
Or, you know, thinking about what happened at school or what we have to do after the game. Like, it would have given us like a focus point.
Because when you're sitting there talking about how nervous.
Oh yeah.
Does my hair look okay?
Especially
the school thing, I think I look stupid. Are my socks matching? You know, I mean, you can't be thinking about anything but the game, right?
And the fact that like sometimes like when our travel games were usually big games like conference games or like games against much bigger schools. Like we'd always have to go to Evansville, which is like the big city near where I live, and there's I think all their schools, they have at least 8 high schools, and it's like all 3A, 4A, and so we have to play them, and we're 1A. We have like no more room than like 20 people on our team, which is a really good year. Usually you have like 40 girls on a team like that, so it was always intimidating, and I think if we would have cut out thinking that it was intimidating, it would have.
No, for those came here, prior to going to meditation, I was thinking about I was visualizing getting in. So I think, you know, my strategy when it comes to this.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. Plus, I think just calming ourselves. I mean, I was a lot more calm after. I mean, I didn't really get, but I was a lot more calm after the meditation than before. So that might be fun to try it before and after just to see what happens.
Meditation is the opposite for me. Like, it makes my mind feel calm, but it makes me feel energized. But maybe it's just out of habit, because usually when I meditate while I'm doing yoga. So, like, I'll get in a certain position and I'll just stay like that. And I've recently started doing the shoulder stand while I'm meditating. And, like, my boyfriend will always walk in the room and just stare at me. And he's like, how do you just stay like that? And I'm like, because when you meditate, you don't focus on, you know, trying to balance or whatever. You just do it, and then you just focus on yourself, trying to breathe and, you know, keep your mind from wandering to other things, so then you don't really even think about it. And then after like 3 minutes or whatever is up, and then you come back out of that position, I always feel really energized. And mindfulness does the opposite for me. It makes me feel like
I think whoever takes that something about it being meditation will energize you. So I think that's normal. I mean, I'm more mentally calm, I guess, than what it should be.
Maybe it just depends on the person too. Yeah. Like the way that you meditate, because I think I meditate for energy, you know, because I don't meditate before I go to sleep, because if I do, then immediately when I'm done, then I'll have like 100 ideas and like, ooh, I should go organize my closet. Ooh, I should go do this. I have all this energy, so I can't meditate before I go to bed because it won't put me to sleep. It'll put me in overdrive. I know I tried it last night. I was having a bad day at work.
To sleep.
It must be different. I meditate a lot to sleep because I'm really bad about waking up in the middle of the night and not being able to fall back asleep. Mm-hmm. And I found if I just start meditating and just focus on counting my breath and visualizing my leaves, then I fall asleep, and it's not that long. But if I just lay there and say, I wish I could fall asleep, then I'll stay with for hours just tossing and turning. Or at least if I'm counting my breath. I used to count actual sheep in my mind. But then I would see them like jumping around and dancing, and I'd be laughing. I'm not falling asleep counting sheep, so counting breath is much better.
Oh, it's a bug. I thought it was like something.
I thought it was a spider.
It's on your sleep. It's on Jacob's sleep.
Oh, it's on your eyes.
This doesn't look vicious.
No,
it's a little stink bug.
It just stinks.
It's a little stink bug.
Yeah, and now he's gonna be stinky.
Oh wow!
Nice little flip.
He's doing yoga.
Christian, do you have any comments? I know
Yeah,
nothing written says it's fine.
Slacker. I didn't play sports in high school. I don't like competition, and it makes me really, really nervous. And I don't like being on teams. The only thing I did was marching band. So.
Well, I mean, that's kind of a sport, as it's very active, right?
Yeah.
And there's a lot of teamwork involved.
Yeah, I have to be a
I
team.
think the main thing is, I don't know, I guess it depends on what position you're in, because you have people higher up and then people lower than you, so some people carry other people, but getting in the position and making sure your music is good, you have to play all the dynamics right, and then you have to make sure you're in the right position, because if you're seriously, if you're like 1 inch off of where you're supposed to be, it throws the entire thing off, and then you get scored well.
Those videos you see on TV where the people just like hit each other and then everyone falls down. Yeah.
That would require a lot of mindfulness, I think.
Yeah, I didn't implement it, and I've always been like a detailed kind of person though, so it was never difficult for me. But some people are just like all over the place, and I mean, you have to make sure that your pitch and your volume is right while you're marching, and like sometimes you march really fast, and it's really hard to like do that because you're out of breath. So I don't know. That's the only thing I did in high school. I didn't like being around people. So.
That sounds very challenging. I would think that would be just as challenging as a sport. I mean, you've got the physical activity of marching and carrying everything, all the clothes, and then the strain of trying to stay in the right formation and keep everything on time, and then you're reading music and you're playing. So I think that is just as much challenge.
Oh yeah, I've read soccer forever, and that sounds way harder. And because like, I don't know, but it's like kicking the ball really. Like if you can kick the ball and like communicate with your teammates, you're gonna have a better chance of like scoring. But I don't have to learn to play music while I'm running and trying to kick it. Like that would just be amazing.
I would think it would require a lot of mindfulness because you're in a position where you have to multitask, and multitasking is hard. And we're supposed to try to do one thing at a time, so you have to do each one of those things mindfully in order for them all to work together. So what's the structure for something like that with regard to like the person in charge? Is it very regimented? How do they keep everybody to do everything right?
Every day is like 3 to 4 hour practice, and we do like sets of, like we have movements in our pieces, and we do, all right, this week we're doing this movement, and then you do that until it's perfect, and then it's not, you stay there. It doesn't matter how long you're there. And then at the end of the week, you do the whole thing. And if there's anything wrong, we had this thing, like if we did anything wrong, you had to do like 50 push-ups and in your gear. So it was just like a lot of like motivation, like I want to go home, I don't want to do push-ups.
Yeah.
And I got to the point where like I was burnt out enough that I went into like this closet thing and I picked my saxophone and like slammed it up against the things that break and I didn't have to play. So yeah, be mindful so you don't break $2,000 instruments, but yeah, so
yeah.
I mean it's just a lot of practice over and over.
So the way in which the band leader managed it could have been more mindful.
Yeah.
I mean, running it like a military operation may not be the best way to get students on board and comfortable. I mean, I can see why they would be motivated to not want to do push-ups, but it may not serve the overall goal of music sounding good and everyone having a good experience in the process.
Really good. Okay, if we mess up, then everyone, let's just sit down for a minute, stop playing, meditate for a little bit, and talk to each other. Why are you having trouble? Why are you having trouble with this piece? Why are you having trouble? And then go back to it. I can see that working better than you messed up, you suck, go do push-ups, or get out.
I think we just set expectations because before we even got out on the field to march, we practiced for 3 months memorizing the music. So he was like, you should know this. You should be able to do it without any problem. So I think he got frustrated easy.
This is meditation.
Do you have any comments about sports or team activities?
I know exactly nothing about any sport, and I didn't really do any extracurriculars in high school. What? Oh, court toss.
How did you feel about this game? And I know your score went up 6 times. Do you think it was just because it was the second time you did it, or do you think the meditation helped you?
I think the meditation helped because it was like we came in and then we did it, and that's like right after I woke up and my ADD medicine hadn't kicked in yet, so I was like, what?
Oh, baby.
Yeah.
I hear the heckler. What are you saying?
Yeah.
Of course.
And then the second time I didn't really even hear any hecklers. I was just like, throw it in there. It's just beer pong.
Can we drink the wine?
Yeah. Listen,
I made one. Drink your wine.
Ken, do you have any comments about sports? Did you play any sports?
Before in high school, I played badminton, and everyone thinks that's a kind of very easy game, but it's not. Like whenever like we have like a contest, like you have to actually like on a team, you have your partner, and you have to continue to keep it up like number, and you cannot drop it down. So whenever you play it, if you're not really mindful, and then you forgot about your force, you use your hand, like the way you hit it, you're gonna get it wrong. So like actually you have to really mindful and focus on like where is the ball they're gonna get it through. So every single time I say that, like if you're really mindful and calm and don't think about how you beat the other team, so actually you're gonna work better. But if you thinking how to win the game, so it's actually like increase your plus pressure, and then after that you cannot really like play very well because all your mind is focused on win or lose.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that actually
Your mind is focused on. That's when you get the yips, right? That's what they call it, the yips. Where you freeze, you choke, and then you get nervous because you choked, and then you mess up more. I do that. I'm not a sports person either, but I just recently took up playing mandolin. I've been taking lessons just because I thought that would be good. I've always wanted to because it's small. I tried guitar before and it was big, so it's a little bit more challenging. But I found that when I'm at home and I'm practicing, it sounds pretty good. I'm like, hey, I got this. I'm trying to learn how to read music and play, so it's really hard for me. I don't breathe while I play, so that would be a problem when I get the longer songs. I'm trying to work on that, being mindful of my breath while I'm playing. But I know when I get in the room with my instructor, my hand instantly just starts sweating. And I'm not thinking about how to play the song or what the notes mean or breathing. I'm thinking about, oh my gosh, I want to mess this up in front of him. And then I do. And then my hands get extra sweaty. And then I keep messing up. And then I just have to totally stop. And I'm like, I swear I did so much better at home. And then he's like, it's okay. Everybody does this. Eventually you won't do this. Because everyone does it. But and I guess it's like the yips, right? I'm just totally choking because I'm in front of somebody. And I have expectations on myself to play it as good as I did at home, rather than just go and play it like I do at home. Right? So I get all tore up about it. And then the more tore up about it I get, the more I mess it up until I can finally just calm down. So I've been working on actually trying to breathe and play, because that's really important.
I do that when I go, if my dad or my boyfriend's with me, like I shake so bad when I'm about to shoot a deer with my bow, but then if I'm by myself, it'll be the perfect, most beautiful shot, and I can just stand there and hold it and hold it and hold it and hold it. But if they're there, like I shake and I feel like I can't draw back and hold it, and so I'm always like, watch. And they sit there like this, and I'm like, oh, why should we shoot this one on this so that they don't watch? But it's really funny because I'm like, I know I can shoot well. I just, if someone watches you, same with like when I played sports. If somebody new came to watch me play one of my matches, I got so nervous. And even though I've done it forever, it's just because someone's watching you. You feel like you have to do better or something. I don't know. I hate when people like me.
So I guess when we're in those situations, we should focus on being mindful and not freaking out over what we expect to happen. Just go with what we know, be in the moment, and then we'd be okay. One thing I failed to do was to get the list of things we're going to work on for next week. I don't have Wi-Fi set up for the school on my computer. Do you guys have Wi-Fi? Yep. And anybody pull up on course and tell us what our next topic is?
Information and technology.
Yes. Oh, I guess I have it in print. And that's our last paper, except for our final papers.
Describe how you use your electronic gadgets mindfully, meaningfully, compassionately, and wisely. I don't. They make me very mindful. and I try not to get on the internet or use electronics anymore. So I'm just gonna write about that.
So it's the same topic for everyone. It's not changed.
Yeah, it just says how to describe how you use your electronic gadgets mindfully, meaningfully, compassionately, and wisely.
And then he has on the syllabus, day 29/12/8 is the day we're supposed to upload our final research paper. That's a Monday, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's the last day of school?
And this week is last week, and then next week's final as well.
The 8th is the day we do our presentation.
So the 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th.
So we do a presentation before finals.
Well, you're only doing a presentation if you signed up with him to do a presentation. If you talked to Reverend Taylor and you said, I'm going to do a presentation, not a paper, then you're doing a presentation. It's either or. You're either doing a presentation or a paper. But he only had a few slots.
Right.
For
I'm doing presentation. I think you said you are.
And Jessica too.
That's just good. Okay.
So whoever signed up to do a presentation is doing one. Everyone else is uploading paper, as far as I know. I'm just doing paper. I don't know what time we're supposed to have our papers turned in, so I thought about asking for that Wednesday.
Yeah. And then I'm wondering if he's gonna have us come back on Wednesday at all, or Monday will be our last day.
Yeah, we should ask, because if he's
That's
going to
all
have
I'm
us come back
saying.
Wednesday, I'm going to turn my paper in on Wednesday.
Yeah. He's gonna have us come back Wednesday. Maybe we could all bring things in to eat or something and just have one last day. But I don't know because I know I have another final on Wednesday. I don't know if other people are gonna be too busy to want to come in now.
Well,
I think all mine are
it
Monday.
was good to spend.
All my teachers were like, yeah, we'll just do them all Monday. Hey! And it's a presentation. All of them are presentations, so I'm just gonna talk all day.
I have a presentation tomorrow.
Put some PC episodes on.
That's all I had.
Oh crap, thank you.
I mean, I guess I'm ending 5 minutes early.
pizza and run.
That's a logic.
Yes. So.
Tori like guards the pizza till the end of the meeting. She's like, no pizza.
You
Gotta
have
wait.
to do it. Or they're just going to devour it and you.
How many absences do you have?
3.
Absence. He's like gonna make up the 4 over with the paper.
Oh, yeah.
It's gonna be 5 pages.
Yeah, I really never do. April 1 page. The dates.
So start final paper here. What?
It's like I will start on Tuesday night. Which because I don't have time to.
Let's not do till.
Yeah, next Monday.
That's good.
What's our reading response for today?
Sports. That's how I was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah, he messaged me and said I could write a paper to make up for some of my absences. I'm like,
yeah, me too.
he said I have 5, but the thing is I know that I don't have 5. I have 4. I recall exactly. I missed 2 days. One I was actually sick. The other was after my car wreck. And then I missed 2 others because I had personal things to do. But I didn't want to argue. I was like, okay, I'll write it. Just 3 to 4 pages of talking about mindfulness. So I wrote it in like an hour, but I was like, I bet a lot of other people have to do that too.
Yeah, he said I had 6. And I was like, you know what, I'm probably.
Nothing?
So I don't care if you guys want to dump them out and just hand them or however you want to do it.
No, you can.
It's
Okay.
half one.
Okay, fine.
So I'm going to time and
Like pushing.
keep
Pushing it.
Or you can have to start pushing.
No, don't worry, I'm not much better.
Do we just.
You can get as close to
Take
the line
turns,
as
or-
you want. Yeah, you're going to take turns. And I'm going to time you for 30 seconds. You got me until I say go. And then we'll total up everybody's score.
How
and
many
we'll
do
do
you
our
get to throw?
meditation. However many you can in 30 seconds.
Oh, okay.
So do I go for 30 seconds?
You'll go 30 seconds.
Okay.
And if you want somebody to hand you, of course you can. If you just want handfuls of them, that's fine.
GT is like a Cheeto game.
Cheetah.
Well,
Oh, except nobody has a head full of shoe.
Okay, so you guys cheer. You guys boo. Ready, set, go.
You're fine.
Miss it. Ah, come on. We got nothing.
No,
Take care.
again.
You guys will give up now.
Alright, GT.
Look at
that
that,
was
your
fun.
shirt. Look at that. Oh, no. See,
Stupid luck.
that's just luck.
Yeah.
It's just
Not
the
even
game luck.
getting
You won't do
over
any
it.
better. No.
Ooh, you gotta keep on
Try again, no. Let's again.
Time's up.
Good job.
He probably is going to win. He may do in the 10.
We're just one of them again.
Oh. Alright.
And then reset. There's nothing in the buckets.
Yeah,
Yeah, I'm not
the only
cutting
sport
this
I
at
played in
all.
school was tennis, and there was no
It's not
cheering.
easy.
There was no yelling or cheering in that, so. I don't know, in high school, at basketball games, though, we would sing Christmas carols or like Strawberry
ready?
Wine, like really
Set,
long songs
go.
during Christmas. We could do that.
Woo!
No!
Okay.
Let's again. You guys are not again.
Tina.
What?
She said you're good at
I'm good at
Time's
it.
up.
All right, yeah. See, look, I'm
Okay, time's
in
up,
here.
time's up.
We have a presentation over just yoga, and we've got like 5 points. Over 30. And I was proud of it too.
It's like it's pretty consistent because each of our time responses is 2. And then I think that's say 15 usually. 33 because it's still each page is 2.
We have 4 people, so we kind of wait and see if anybody else shows up. We
Team
have
what?
5.
Oh, no.
We have 5, I need at least one more
reading
person.
response though, because he gave me a 1.5 out of 2 on one of our very first ones because it wasn't long enough, so I'm gonna have to do another one and get the 2 points on it so that I can actually get all the points.
A few of mine are
I'm
300
playing
words.
games.
Sounds like
Mindfulness is sport, so playing the game.
Sometimes that's why just like I've worked on it and I stopped working on it just because I know how difficult it is. So I can do it.
You're a doctor. What's your title again? Doctor, sorry, what was your last name? Peaston. That's because I never heard it before. Dr. Peaston. You know what your first name is?
Pretty smart.
Gary. Okay, that's right. Gary. Since there's only 6, do you want to play a game with us?
You bet.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 6, yes.
Okay. So,
Team 1. I'm just gonna go through.
what do you go by? You don't go by your first name.
JT.
Just a minute. The one that you were doing, was it yesterday when she said to me, I work my hand
Got those right?
Yeah, that was a ridiculous.
Okay. So rather than starting with meditating, we're going to start right off the beginning. And we'll meditate after.
Hey, you know, for 1 second. Dr. Robert Dapp asked me to bring this along on this day. So
That's so. I'll go ahead and write it.
Comedy. I know I was thinking that. I'm like, I know there's a couple other people that miss more than me, so it's probably not just me. This is
Oh, yeah.
Well, at some point, we stopped writing down our names and started
Yeah.
taking attendance from our assignments. So that might be why you think you have more. Maybe you're missing one more assignment than you're missing a day.
Oh, then I should have like 12.
I bet that's what it
Maybe
is.
he's not doing that.
Because I had a couple of assignments that I didn't upload. Okay.
Yeah, I still have to upload.
It's only a
Just a
25
picture.
and a 27.
Yeah. Right. And I had like 3 out of 27 that weren't uploaded.
You want to get a good one?
So I'll do that.
Just to find the phone.
Oh, which one is it? Oh, nice.
It's fine.
So like I emailed them too and asked if our presentations are just like the same thing as our paper, basically. They would
Small
have to
but
do
heavy.
design a model for someone. I asked if you can design a model for yourself, and he said that was fine because I was under the impression that our presentations could be over whatever topic we wanted. Then I happened to look back to the syllabus and I was like, no, I bet it's going to be the same requirement as the paper. I'm glad I looked before I started working on mine. But, the requirements for the paper is, I thought it was just like over a topic of mindfulness or one of the models or whatever, but it's designing a model for someone's life on like a micro and a macro level. And so I asked if we could do it over ourselves because I've already started doing a lot of mine over yoga and things. And so he said that it's fine if you do it over yourself.
Yeah, because I sent him my topic, and he said that it sounded good, and it's just about like mindfulness as an eye. So I don't know if that fits the criteria or not.
I thought thought it was weird one day when he asked me to talk about my topic, he acted like my topic wasn't good. And that's because I said I was just going to do mine over like mindfulness and your body, like exercise-wise. But now I understand why, because he wants us to do more of like a model. So I guess yours is going to fit in the category of doing a model over your own life, so that's why he was very okay. Mine was not, because it wasn't about anyone's life in particular. Now it's going to be. It's going to be about mine. And I'm glad I checked on that before I started doing it.
This is from Mindful Magazine. And this is a Seattle Seahawks coach. And she ran Bellevue to win the Super Bowl. And he's his mindfulness with his team.
Oh, goodness. I've heard a lot about him, actually. Like, even my friends' dads are talking about him. Like, when I talk about football, they're like, you heard about this mindfulness thing he's doing? And they act like it's so new and, like, crazy. And I'm like, yeah, I have heard about it.
I didn't bring the magazine, but this is most Scientific American. And it's neuroscience meditation. And it's, Scientific American's not out there kind of magazine. And it's showing that meditation does work.
Do you want to pass those around? So I'll shut the door. So the goal here is to, I don't know how many of you got to read about mindfulness before. Some of the PowerPoint were pretty interesting. One of the things I talked about was concentration, and there's external stimuli and internal stimuli. So, so what I thought might be fun is to do a quick little game and take our scores, and then do our meditation, do the game again, and see if anything happens. Just for fun, just for an experiment. So when team one's going, it's going to be 30 seconds per person. Somebody on your team, like maybe the person behind you, okay, these are corks. This is not a commentation on how much I drink. I've been saving them a very long time, so it's not just like this month or anything. I tried ping pong balls and I ended up with all the ping pong balls hidden behind my stove because they were just went everywhere. So I just said, let's just use corks to bounce less. So the goal is to stand behind the tape and try to get unicorns. This is 1, this is 5, this is 10. And we're just going to time you for 30 seconds. And the other team has to be very distracting. Just like you were at a game, like boos and hisses, and your team should cheer. And the person throwing it needs to try to concentrate even though there's a bunch of noise and ruckus going on. So I'm just curious to see if before or after meditation makes any difference. I don't know. So that's the game. I just made it up in my head, so it might be fun. So team 1, if you want to come up. And team 2, you can come closer so you can pull them. Get some heavy.